Yes, sir.
Hello?
Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Masulamani, and also for the organizer of this 5-day skill development webinar on the ornamental fish culture and breeding. So thank you once again, and very happy evening to all the participants and the organizers. Is it visible, my slide?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah.
You can go
Yeah.
full screen, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, now it is.
Now it is full.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So on continuation with the yesterday's topic, I think you might all have selected your fishes, like most colorful fishes, and now it is time to keep it in your home. So how? So for that you need a tank, okay, and then the good water quality where your fish is going to be there for the several years. Okay, so let me start with a small introduction on this topic, like construction and setting up of an aquarium. Okay, going to that, some of the inspiration quotes regarding this aquarium. So you can see the Superman in 80s and 90s, we are very much impressed on the Superman. That's why I put more of colorful pictures so that you can make these quotes in your mind. If there is a magic, this planet, it is a contained in the water. So it shows the confined water. So it is an American philosopher. And the next American veterinarian told watching fish like listening to music can distract you in a good way. So whatever the tension which you have, you can reduce by seeing this little aquarium or a big aquarium, because these little creatures will give more surprise. Okay. Then, is this easy or difficult living in confined spaces for a long period of time? So in this pandemic situation, I think we all are facing a difficult situation. Like we have to attend the class and you have to work from home and you have to relax and stay connected with the people and do the exercise to keep our body fit and do some yoga and breathing exercise for our mental health. And imagine the small little creatures which we kept in our aquarium in a confined area. Like, so what we have to going to give for them, whether they are happy or sad, they are suffering from any diseases or anything, they don't have anything to express. Only thing is they will move here and there, they will gasp uh, from the upper layer of the water. It means certain things is wrong in your aquarium. Okay, this is not natural. So how we are going to give a best for your small little creatures? Because I am very much uh, concerned about these little creatures, because they are very beautiful and we are buying it for a large amount and we are spending more amount on them, and we are, it is how difficult to set up an aquarium, because we only know. Then after setting up the aquarium, the maintenance also is very important. Okay, so today's topic I'm going to deal with all these aspects, and I also give, it's a tip for you, right? So first, let me start with the location where you can keep your aquarium. It should be a fairly dark spot to highlight it, because if it is a well lit environment, it won't. The background is also bright, so your aquarium won't be of that much appeal. So it should be in a dark spot to highlight, and it well away from the television, because the lights from the television and the blinking the lights, it will distract your fishes. Then you have to go for some practical consideration. What you should have is, like, nearby you should have an electrical outlet and a tap. So this is a main thing. And then ecological criteria, no direct sunlight and temperature, because it hinders, it will make the algal growth and the visibility will be very less on the glasses. So you must avoid from the direct sunlight and sudden rise and fall of temperature. Then avoid direct sunlight, I already told, the algal growth and the overheating. Next, it should not be nearby your windows or doors, because there will be a drastic change in temperature. And trafficking area, where if there is a heavy movement in your houses or in office or anywhere else. It should be a calm. Okay, so in that area you should avoid. So next slide. So the tank which comes in a different shapes and sizes, you can see a number of designs is there, but uh, every designs, like if you go in a complex design, they will have so many constraints. So better you can go for a rectangular tank. Okay, then the material, if you go if you select, you'll have only two materials to select. One is a glass and acrylic, and you can see this is the difference. Like in the glass, which is cheapest, and if you have a scratch, then it would be a permanent. And the glass have a high index of refraction, and they are heavy, and they only need the stand to support the edges, not for the entire glass tank, and more easily broken. If you take acrylic, they're more expensive, scratches can be buff, and they have a low index of refraction, because if you see it from one angle, you won't see the fishes. Then it weighs less, and the acrylic, it need a special stand, and they're harder to break. But if you compare both of this, we can go for a glass, because it is very cheaper, and you can enjoy your fishes within that. And other materials such as thermocol and plywood also there, but how you can ask the thermocol will serve. There are several other processes after making for making this thermocol and the plywood tank, because you have to cover the inner portion with the cement or any leak proof material. Then you can have your a simple and temporary tanks with this thermocol and plywood. So probably we will go for a glass tank, because which is easy to make and maintenance, and also you can enjoy your fishes in this glass tank. So next, when you prefer this material, okay, next, what thickness you want to buy and make a glass tank. So this is the simple guide. So based upon the size and width and depth of the height and depth of the tank, you can buy these thickness of glasses. Like for 2 feet, 1 by 1, you can go for 4 or 5 3 1.5, you'll have 10 and 4 1.5 and 1.5, you'll have 12 you can buy, and 5 1.5 and 2 12 So more than if you go for 4 feet, you have to put more, you have to buy more thickness glasses, because the water pressure and everything will be high. So you have to go for a thicker glasses, like 6 feet 1.5 width and 2 feet height. You have to go for 15 or 19 Then only your glass tank will be sturdy. Okay. So next, so now we have chosen the thickness of the glass. So now we have to go for how to make a glass tank. So this is a 2 feet 1 by 1. Okay. We are going to construct a 2 feet 1 by 1, because when I am giving a lecture, normally my lecture will be of a live demo will be there. So I will have cut pieces of glass and I will demo lively for the people. But now since it is an web, so I have to give this drawings only. Okay. So when you're selecting your glasses, you have to cut 3 equal rectangle glasses, like 2 by 1, 2 by 1 and 2 by 1. And for the sides, there's a small difference, like you have to minus the thickness of the both glasses. Okay, both glasses. Like if you're here, it is 8 glass they have chosen, so that's why they have 0.8 8 was minus in the side glass. So accordingly, you go and purchase the glasses in the shop, and you can get it to your home. Okay, so now you understand for 2 by 1, the thickness of the glass for the side, both sides, no, the smaller one, you have to less the thickness of the glass. Right, this is the only calculations what you have to consider when buying this glasses for aquarium. Whatever the thickness may be, 18 or 10 12 whatever it may be, but for the both the side, you have to accommodate that front and back glasses. For that only we are minusing the that particular in the side glasses. Okay. So what material you need to glue the glass tank? So you have to buy this two materials like a gun and a glue. This is nothing but a silicon glue. Okay, all purpose silicon glues are there. You have three colors will be there. One is black, white, and transparent. If you go for transparent, then it will be better. Okay, it won't. It will give a transparent appearance so that the tank look nicely. And this is how you should keep your start gluing your tank. So first you keep the base glass, and one side, on the back side of the base, you have to glue. So the how to glue, you have to glue both the sides, in the sides of the glass and also the bottom of the glass. First you fix number one glass, then you go for the second glass on your left side. You have to glue all the sides like a L in the backs of the glass and also the sides of the side tank and bottom of the glass. So you have to fix that one, and then go for the next side glass, that is the right side one, and the same way you have to fix it. And lastly you have to paste the front glasses. Okay, and all the sides should be glued. Then you go inside the tank and glue all the edges without making any gap. So all uh, the gap should be filled up by using your index finger. Okay, it's very easy, just like your how you will close a gap in your tank or a tap. Okay, just a pull from bottom to the top and from left to right, and there also from bottom to top. Only a single stroke should be there, then only you will get a evenly distributed the silicone gel without any gap and bubble. You should be careful in order to avoid this bubble and gaps. Okay, then you have to give some grippers. If you are going for a bigger tank more than 4 feet, you should give the gripper, because your tank is going to what you have, it contains more volume of water, all the pressure will be on the bottom. So you have to give the gripper at the bottom. It may be of the entire breadth of your tank, 2 to 3 inches glass pieces with the entire width of your glass. Two gripper has to be given on the bottom and also on the top. Okay, so the top you can across or along the glasses, along the tank you can give. This gives a better grip for your tank, and also it avoids the leakage when you pour water for a large volume of tanks. And you can clear all your excess glue by using the blade, a sharp blade. Don't peel it up. If you peel the excess of this glue, what happens means it will come, all the glues will come outside. Okay, so it is not a good idea. You just cut it off, don't peel it up. Okay, so now your tank is ready. You put all the glasses intact by using the masking tape or your jute thread. Okay, so likewise you can tie it very tightly so that all the gel will be intact and they will settle very tightly. So leave it for 24 hours. So if you are starting at the morning, so you can untie it in the next day morning, your tank is ready. So here and there will be some silicone gel. You can scrap it with a sharp blade. Now your tank is clear and ready for your fishes, right? So this is how you have to glue all the edges of the glass. So you have to cut the nipple in a cross so that it can evenly, the glue will be distributed. By guiding your index hand, you come slowly, you press the gun, the gel will be coming out. And likewise, you have to entire glass, you have to glue like this. So next, so now your tank is ready. So what is the next part? Is the substrate. So substrate, it is an important part in your aquarium because it gives an aesthetic look to your normal fish only plant and also for the planter tanks. Okay, so various types of substratum to cover the bare bottom, because if your tank is bare bottom, it won't looks good, Like we have so many grippers and all other things will be there. So in order to cover this, you have to make you have to give a proper substrate. So purpose of the substrate, so it is main thing is medium for bacterial growth and also for the plant growth, and it serves habitat for the fish, mainly for the bottom dwelling fishes. So if you are putting the bottom dwelling fishes in your tank, if it is a bare bottom, it won't serve the purpose. Okay, and also you are not giving a proper substratum to that particular fish. For that only you have to give the substratum. Okay, and also for the excatterers or depositors. Next, decoration, like I mentioned early, it gives an aesthetic appeal, and it create a visual landscape with the plants, rocks, driftwood, and other decors. Okay, so this is how you can decorate, and you have to give the substrate for your tank. Next, what are all the materials? Like you have aqua clay, gravel, white sand, live rock, and in the small aquariums you will get shops, you will get the marbles, and also plant as a substratum. Generally, you have to fill it up your substratum for 1 to 2 inches. Normally, we prefer to fill it up with 1 to 2 inches of this aqua clay or Manado, which gives a better result. In our experience, we suggest this particular aqua clay or this Manado is a very good substrate. Even for a tank with a small filter, you no need to change the water up to 6 months. I have maintained a tank in my college. Only I have made a DIY filter, and with the same aqua clay, I have maintained just only top up only I will do. I never made the full water exchange, because the waste which is produced by the fishes, they go inside this aqua clay, and the bacteria which is in the aqua clay will degrade as fast as when you compare to that of the other substrate material. For the planted tank, you must put other 1 inch height. You have to raise 1 inch height, that is 3 inches, because the planted tanks will produce more roots, so that you have to give the space for root producing. So this is the aqua clay, which normally you can get it from the aquarium shops. It's very good for normal plant only, animal fish only tank, and also it suits for the planted tanks also. Next, so we have chosen the substrate. Then next we have to go for the water. It's the main medium where your fishes live. So to start a home aquarium, you must choose the source of water for the fish. So since the animal lives in that medium, and you have to give a clean and ideal environment to stay healthy. So here I have to mention about the health, because if you give a good water, then fishes will be healthy. If you give contaminated or any other water, the stress will be there. The stress in turn leads to the disease outbreak of that particular fishes or in the tanks. So which is clean water? So all the waters are, is it clean? Even though if it looks clean, it is not, because you will have ammonia, nitrite, and this chlorine, all are colorless. The water will be clear, but the if this substance is there in your water, and it will be lethal to your fish. So you must eliminate all these materials, all these chemicals from your source water. So they're all colorless, you can't smell them, and even in the low concentration, it will be a fatal for your fishes. So what will be your choice of water? The tap water, river water or lake water, RO water, well water, and rainwater. So the well water, rainwater, reverse osmosis, maybe because the reverse osmosis is potable water, so you can use directly. Then the lake water and the tap water, you should be aware of the other contaminants like chlorine, okay, nitrate, nitrate, or ammonia, or other pesticides. Likewise, you have to eliminate all these things. We have several what you call the chemicals are available in order to remove this particular chlorine and other things, right? Next, we'll go for the skimmers, filters, and filtration equipment. So now we have a tank, we have a substrate, and we have the clean water. And the next part, what you have to concentrate is the filters. So what filters do in aquarium? So it remove physical and chemical waste to simplify the maintenance. Because if you see, most of the people, they will go to an aquarium shop and they will buy the tank, they will buy the fish, and they will buy the aerator what the particular pet shop owner they will give the aerator, the substrate like the small marbles, and also the fishes and the tank. So what he will do, he will come at the home and they will put all the substrate inside and all put the water and the fishes and also the aerator, and they will go. So and what yesterday Yura just discussed, like at that time you can enjoy. So in the next day morning, the problem starts. All the fishes coming at the top and they will gasp. What happens in the night? Because already the fishes are in the stress, okay, and your water, whether we don't know if it is a clean water, okay, no problem. So you have aerator for rotating the water and it will give a constant oxygen to your tank, okay. But what about the waste? Because already your fishes are in stress, they will produce more waste, okay, because it is a new environment. So the substrate, there is no particular bacteria which is converting this nitrate or ammonia, nitrate, converting into which is produced in the bacteria in the aquarium. So that particular chemical, it will leads to the big disaster, right? So in order to avoid that, you have to filter all the waste in outside or internally. So this filters it makes. So they have a mechanical filter, chemical filter, and biological filter. And this is the simple process, like there will be an intake, then first it goes to the mechanical filtration, and next it will goes to the chemical filtration, and next biological, and outflow to the tank. This is a simple schematic diagram. And these are all the different mediums which you can use it for your filters. Okay, normally if you go for an external filter or canister filter, all the mediums will be there. Okay, or else you have to buy it and purchase it, or you can put it inside the trays. Otherwise, if you are having a small aquarium, if you don't have, go for the bigger canister filter or hang-on filter, even you can make your DIY filter with your filters, coffee filters. Take 3 coffee filters and you choose if you go to the aquarium shops, you will have small sponges, this aquarium, the filter bowls. Okay, 2 pore size filters you buy. One you will have a white color and it was very thick, and other one is the porous one. So first you put you take the 3 filters and cut the handle, and you take one 2-liter bottle, PET bottle, and cut it on the top. Okay, put some holes in the bottom, right? And first with a medium, the small chips, you put it inside, uh, uh, put it in the filter and put it on the bottom of the PET bottle. And the next you'll go for the white sponges and put it in the next, and you go for the third, that pore size large sponge, okay, and keep it aside. I will tell you the next process. So next you'll have the medium, biological medium. So why we are using this biological medium? Because in order to grow the bacteria, right? So this bacteria which converts the toxic material into a non-toxic material, non-toxic chemicals. Then we have different types of this chemical filtration materials like activated carbon, zeolite, okay, filter gravels, then acronite, activated acronite. So normally we won't use all these things unless otherwise if you have any problem with the iron, turbidity, and the hardness, we have to. But otherwise you can go for activated carbon and zeolite, that is enough. Zeolite, this bioballs, and the filter balls with the different pore sizes, right? So now I told you have made your DIY filter, and in your tank you will have a power head, okay. So the power head, you will have both inlet and outlet. You take the outlet and put it on your top of your DIY filter, and the water goes through the high porous filter wool and the low porous filter wool, and it passes through the small pebbles and the substratum, bottom substratum, whatever it may be you are providing to grow for the bacteria, and it passes through these three mediums and it returns to the tank. It will act as a good filter. Okay, for a small 2 tank up to a 2.5 tank to 1 by 1, you can use this DIY filter. It works best in order to remove all your the bigger wastes, animal waste, okay, like the fecal matters and the uneaten foods. So this is the nitrogen cycle what you have to particular about your tank. So you are feeding your fishes with the proteinaceous food, okay, and other, if you have a planted aquarium, you have dead plants in your tank, okay. So why we are providing this filter medium in the filter is in order to grow these bacteria like the nitrosomonas bacteria. So with the they are all anaerobic bacteria. So with the oxygen, this nitrosomonas bacteria, they break down the ammonia into nitrite, okay, and then the nitrite, again the another bacteria, nitrobacter, with the oxygen, anaerobic bacteria, they convert nitrite to nitrate, okay. So for this only we are providing this bioballs, right, because they need a medium to grow, okay. This nitrate, when compared to that of ammonia, it is very less toxic and it is very much needed to the plant. So whenever you are going to set up a tank, my preference is just add some plants, 2 or 3 strings of plants like kapamba, very easily maintainable plants, Myriophyllum, Ceratophyllum, and then Amazon sword, okay. Mm. Likewise, you can use easily maintainable plants with low intensity of light, right. So if you use these plants, automatically they will absorb the nitrate and they will grow very nicely. So you have to provide some chill climate, chill temperature, okay. So with this, you have to concentrate on this nitrogen cycle because this is very, very important. If you don't mature your tank with this nitrogen cycle, it will be lethal to your fish, because there is a one syndrome like the new tank syndrome, okay. This new tank syndrome is like because of this bacteria. Since this bacteria is not grown fully in your aquarium, these chemicals like this ammonia, okay, the waste ammonia and nitrate, which is a lethal to your fish, that is the only problem what the new tanks will face. That's why I told earlier, most of the fishes will die in the next morning because of this, okay. Even though you provide a proper oxygen or any other thing, your tank should be get matured. And these are all the different types of filters: external filter, canister filter, and the sump. So these top 3 are which kept in the external, so that it is called as external filter. So the hang-on filters, power filters for slow moving fishes, okay. So the water also, it will flow very slowly, like your Siamese algal filter, Siamese fighter fish, like. So for that tanks, you can use this back on hang on back filters. For the bigger tanks like 3 2 by 2.5, you can use this external filter, canister filter. So this is the mechanism how the canister filters work, because most of the canister filter, they it flows through gravity. The water comes inside and they will flow up. You have different trays in your canister filter. So we will use the coarse filter wool, and then the finer filter wool, and you will have a chemical media like zeolite, ceramic ring, and then you will have bioballs, okay. Then it will, there will be a uplift pump. That pump, it will lift your water to the aquarium once again. It's a circular one. It's a circulating, like your recirculating tanks culture, the water continuously it recirculate, and while coming inside the canister filter, all your filter waste No, whatever the uneaten food and the fecal matter, it comes inside your canister filter and it will be get filtered, and the toxic materials like ammonia, nitrate, everything will be converted inside this canister filter, not on your tank, because the tank water is continuously rotating, right? The sump, the same thing, but it's like a canister filter, but it is a bigger one. Okay, for 6 feet tank, you need to put a sump. These external filters, they won't helpful. So you have to go for the sump. So sump also same thing. You'll have different baffle walls. So each baffle you will have different medias, as we mentioned in the canister filter. The first will be of your physical filter, and the second your chemical, and third you'll have the biological balls, the bio balls, in order to make all the convert the chemicals into non-lethal, and then it pumps up into your tank, right? So the uplift pump here, you will kept it in the externally, right, inside the sump. That power also you should uh, consider, because now the outflow and inflow should be the same. Likewise, we'll have the overflow system in the tank, so that when whatever the water goes inside, it will comes down to the sump. That is a separate system, like overflow system. Okay. Then you'll have the internal filters. You will have the power head attached with the filter, which is for, it's for a simple tanks like 2 by 2. And if you have a smaller fishes, this particular internal filter, the power head is enough. But you must consider how much liters per hour you are going to buy. Okay, for a small tank, if you buy a higher power head, means what happens? There will be so much water circulation inside the your tank. Your fish will not be able to swim. So what happens? The continuous stress will be there, and your fish will die. Okay, so you have to consider the how much liters per hour you are going to put in your tank. Okay, so I will discuss it later. Then you'll have the gravel filter. This is very old. That filter, what in our time, in 80s and all, this is very common. We normally use the undergravel filter with the aerators. Okay, at the time buying the power head will be more costlier, so they will use aerator to uplift the water which flows through the filter medium, and it comes out. Very simple process. And you'll have the sponge filter. This is also very common and very old filter system. So this is how you have to select your filters. So you can see the comparison, like easy to um, intermediate, okay, then cost, upkeep, the space requirement, the biological effectiveness, chemical effectiveness, and the mechanical effectiveness, noise. So this is how you can compare your filters. Okay, so the sponge filter, undergravel filters are very easy. And if you go for the canister filter and the sump, it will be intermediate to maintain and installation. And the space requirement for the sump and the canister filter will be, the canister will be medium and the sump it will be high. Okay, and the chemical effectiveness, if you see, for the sump it is medium, and for the sponge filter and the undergravel filter is low. This is normally it happens in our home aquarium, because the shopkeeper, they will give anything. Okay, so to sell an aquarium, so he will simply give the underwater aquarium and the underwater filter and a sponge filter. He will tell this is enough, but it won't helpful in our aquarium. We need a power head and we need a small filter system, right? So accordingly you can choose your filters, right? So this is the wet and dry filters. What I told as a sump, no, this is the structure. You'll have an inlet pipe which is comes from the overflow, and it flows through the baffle walls, where you will have different medium in order to degrade the materials, the toxic materials, toxic chemicals which is present in the water, and the uneaten feeds which is left by the fishes. Okay, and likewise it goes up and down, so that effectively it filters all your waste, and then it comes to your reservoir tank, and from there you can pump it up to your tanks. Likewise, there will be a continuous circulation in your tank. Okay. So this is the some setup for your marine aquarium. So only difference is you have to put two more things extra, like the uh, protein skimmer and the refugium. So in the marine tank, since we are feeding it with the high protein foods, more ammonia and nitrate will be there. In order to eliminate this nitrite ammonia from the tank, we have to use this refugium where you will have the algae and other the small copepods and other invertebrates will be there in order to degrade this toxic material into a non-toxic material. And the protein skimmer, it skims out the volatile material which is present in the water, which is produced as a waste by the fishes. So if you put two of this equipment in your some additional material to your freshwater, and you can convert your tank into a marine tank, right? So this is how the protein skimmers work. They are often a good choice for keeping your saltwater aquarium clean. So this is a primary biological filtration, foam fractionation. So it skims the protein, okay, and also it eliminates the dissolved organic compounds like phenol oils and other yellowing agents which are nuisance in the saltwater aquarium. Mainly this yellowing happens in your saltwater aquarium because of the volatile compounds and the oils. And as I told, no, this powerhead is very, very important. Even if you are having a small aquarium in your home, you should provide it with the powerhead. Then only your filter system will be efficient. Don't go for your underwater filter, UG filter or sponge filter, or even you will have the top filters also in some of the tanks, the ready-made tanks they will have. But that also won't give a that much efficient filtration. Okay, but you can go for this powerhead. So depending upon the size of your aquarium, use one or several powerhead. And one more thing here I have to mention, like the circulation in your tank is also important, because the circulation is the only way where you can get rid of all your wastes of your tank. Okay, so in the tanks you might have seen one way the water is coming inside, that is inlet, and another way the water is going outside. The flow should be on the same way. Without any hindrance, the water should flow all along your aquarium. So how you are going to provide this? So you should have some idea. And even though if you have more of these decors, you should avoid the decors, and then the flow should be very easily and movable on all along your tanks. So most of your power head, they will provide it with a rainwater system, like a small pipe with the pores. So it will gives a rainwater effect in your tank, but the circulation will be up and down movement. Okay, it is a clockwise movement. Okay, it is not all along your tank, but across your tank. So whenever you put such type of rainwater pipes in your tank, you can see the water flows from up to down. It won't give that much flow towards your outlet of your pipe, so that you have to keep your flow on both the sides, any sides, according to your electrical plug and other position. You can keep on left or right, so that your water will be flows from right to left or left to right. Then only all your waste which pushes from one side and it comes in with the other side where you have to keep the outlet. This is very, very important when you are providing this keeping an aquarium, because this water circulation is important. And in the marine tanks you can have the oscillators. Okay, they will give the like the wave makers. Okay, that also provide the circulation of the water. Then the proper flow rate is essential for your aquarium to work it out best, because your aquarium will stay clean for longer period and providing a healthier environment for your inhabitant. So the circulation is very, very important, right? Next, what is the what is the purpose of using this power? It is we are turning out the water, because you have to circulate all your water from the tank to the filter. So how many times it has to be passed? So there is a calculation like your turnover should be 4 times per hour. How many times? 4 times. If you, for example, if you have a 20 liters of a tank, okay, your water should circulate into the filter for 4 times per hour. That means your pump should be 80 liters per hour. So this is the purpose why they are giving this hours per liter, okay, the capacity. So choose accordingly based upon your liters of your tank, the capacity of your tank. So for a smaller tank, 80 liters or 100 liters per hour is enough. For the bigger tank, you have to go for the higher capacity pump to rotate. This is the one, it is a mandate. Even it is a small aquarium or a big aquarium, the circulation and the circulation of the water is both important. For example, if you have 50 liters tank, so your flow rate should be around 200 liters per hour. So now you know how to choose your power head. Simply going and buying a power head is useless, but think and calculate accordingly. You buy a power head and keep it in your tank, then automatically all the problems will be get rid, right? So next important part, since we are keeping our aquarium in a very dull area, you have to give a brightness. For this, you need to put some lightings. So lightings gives, allows the hobbyist to observe the aquarium, and it provides a vital energy for photos. If you are having a planted aquarium, light is very, very must, and also for your animals. And it also influences the biological clock. This is very much important. So it's simply 24 hours, you should not put on your light on your aquarium because they need some rest. Okay. So you have to give 12 hours clock time, right? So biological clock, in order to activate the biological clocks of the fishes, you have to 12 hours lighting time should be there. Okay. Next, in order to provide a vital for overall health and well-being of the entire aquarium, here I am giving a small a table where you can have how many, what are the tanks and how many watts of your lights. See, it goes from a normal freshwater tank, you can have 1 watts per 2 liters of water. And for the freshwater tank, for East African tanks, you can have 1 watt per liter. So for the high density tank, and sparsely planted tanks and seawater without invertebrates, 1 watt per 3 liters. And if it is having any invertebrates in your tank, 1 watt per liter and high intensity. So you can have more these T5. Now you have LEDs. Okay, and you can provide a good lighting to your tank. So next we are going for, now we have collected all the materials, including from substratum to light we have purchased. Now we are going for aerators and air stones. So what is the use of this aerators? So air pump, it supplies air to your tank. That means normally it pumps nothing but the environmental air. So more oxygen dissolution will be there. And then in order to maintain adequate concentration of the oxygen, and also in the UG filter, it uses as a filter. Okay, it pumps up the water in the tube so that water moves inside the filter and comes up in terms of this UG filter. Okay, so this is the purpose why we are using this air pump. When buying your air pump, certainly you need to buy 2 more things along with your air pump. One is a good air stone and an NRV, which is called as non-return valve. If you are keeping your aerator under your aquariums, automatically the flow from the tank, it comes to your air pump, and you may get some electrical short circuits. So in order to avoid that, you have to buy some NRVs, like 10 rupees, 20 rupees, you can get these NRVs. If you put this NRV, automatically it will stops the return water which comes from your aquarium tank, right? And mostly you can go for a 2 nozzle, then it will give high bubble rate and high speed motor. So it pumps more air into your aquarium. Yeah, next part is the feed. So the feed is a very important component while you're going for an aquarium. So we have different types of feeds available in the market like flakes, crisps, granules, pellet, disc. So we normally come across the granules. So nowadays the flakes also available, crisps, pellet, and discs for this bottom feeding uh, fishes. And other types you can see freeze dried vacation blocks like the white color one. You can have it from your normal pet shop. Commercial gel food, frozen foods, and live foods. And normally when you're going for a feed, you must think about your fishes. What fish you're going to keep it in your going to buy your, for your aquariums, whether, and also consider your mouth size of the fishes. Okay, so normally when I go for some of the houses, no, they will put big pellet for the small guppies and small fishes. They will come up and they will nibbling. They have to, like how we are eating apple, no, they will simply come and nibble and they will go. If they doesn't fit their mouth size, they will go off. They won't try. Okay, unless otherwise, if you are providing a good food with a good smell and good attractant, it will come and eat repeatedly. If you are giving a somewhat the other feeds, no, they won't come in and take the feed. They will go off. Then they will, in hunger, they will die off. So while choosing the feed, you must consider your fish and the mouth size of the fish, and also where they are living, whether they are living in the bottom, whether they are living in the middle or in the top layer. Accordingly, you have to choose your feed. Flakes, it can serve only the top and the middle level of the fishes. For the bottom feeders, you must give the sinking pellets or sinking crisps. Okay, so likewise, you have to choose your feeds. This is very, very important because food gives health and health and good color to your fishes, because healthy fishes only looks brighter. Okay, and it also reduces the incidence of occurring of the diseases, right? Because the even the some of the foods which is having the astaxanthin, the carotenoids, and all other vitamins, and the proper protein and other ingredients, vitamins and minerals, which is very much must for your food. If you are giving an improper food, means they won't take and they will die off because of the hunger and also other things, other diseases which is happening because of this. Okay, so one thing I have mentioned here is your mouth size of your fishes and then choose. But my choice is the flakes and the sinkable pellets. Okay, because when you're going for all the level of fishes, this too works very nicely. Okay, so these are all the picture of the feed food types like flakes, granules, the pellets. So this is what I have mentioned earlier. Choose the feed according to the mouth size and choose the feed according to the feeding behavior. This is very, very important, right? So next, we have came across all the aspects. Next, how we are going to choose your fish. So Dr. Yuvraj yesterday has mentioned so many varieties of fishes. So now we are very much eager to buy, but the how they will occupy your tank, that is very much important. Okay, so this is a simple guide which I am giving here. When you're going to buy your fishes, like it should occupy all your uh, levels of your tanks. Okay, so like what the common fishes I will mention here, like guppy, uh, this rainbow, Bosmanian rainbow, and then gauramis and swordtail, it normally occupies from top to the middle. They won't come to the top, but they will occupy from middle to the top to the middle. So in that layer, if you see these fishes, they will roam on that area only. They won't come down. So for these fishes, you have to provide the floating pellets or these flakes. Then only they will come and feed. They won't come down to the bottom. If you put a sinking feed, they won't come to the bottom and they won't feed. Unless otherwise, if you don't have any bottom feeders, they may come. But continuously, they won't come down. Okay. So next, for the middle layer, you can use this widow tetra, then raminos, mollies, and tiger bobs for the middle level of fishes. Then from middle to bottom, this Bolivian ram, very beautiful fish, the cardinal tetra, the clown loach, and discus and neon tetra. If you see these fishes, they will occupy only the middle and bottom layer of the aquarium. So what else? In the bottom, you can see the corridoras, the very beautiful fishes, the catfish, and then coolie loach, the loach which will normally cleans your tank. Okay, what the cleaner fish, what normally we have the plecos, they are nothing but a scrappers. Okay, they will be live in a high hill stream areas. Because of their behavior, they are having the sucker mouth. Okay, so they will simply go and scrap the in the nature, they will go and scrap the algae which is found on the rocks. Since it is a stream, a heavy flow of water will be there. In order to avoid the harsh movement, they will suck into the tank. Normally we won't prefer this particular pleco in your tank as a tank cleaner. You can use this clown loach, coolie loach, and the panda cowrie. Okay, this type fishes can keep your tank very clean and neat. Okay, so this is how the spread of your aquarium, okay, with your beautiful fishes. Next, all levels. So normally we will buy the goldfishes, the carps, okay, and your the catfish, okay, pangasius, okay. These occupies all level of your tanks, right? The goldfish, the danio, the zebra danio, the rosy barb, they will occupy all the spaces of your aquariums. So likewise, you can plan and buy accordingly to fill up your tanks. So this is a simple diagram which I made to give a picture representation of your tank, how it looks when you buy all these fishes for your tanks. Like in the upper layer, you can see the swordtail, gaurami, guppy, and the middle you can see the molly, sailfin molly, bubble molly, raminos, and the tiger barbs, green tiger barbs. Then in the middle to bottom, you can see the ram, red cherry barb. It's a beautiful fish, and neon tetra, discus, clown loach. And in the bottom part, you can see the corridoras and then the coolie loach. So this is how your spread should looks like, right? Next, the biggest problem is the stocking. How much fish I have to stock? So in this, you must consider when you're buying a fish, you are only considering about the size at the time only. We are not considering what will happen in the next 6 months or next 3 months or next 2 months. The fishes are going to grow. Simply buying 20 fishes and put it into a 3 feet aquarium tanks, only 10 to 5 or 8 fishes will thrive in your tank, because they have to share all the things which is present inside the tank. Main example is oxygen. So how much fish, what fishes will consume more oxygen? So likewise, you have to plan accordingly, then you buy the fishes. So this is a simple guide I have mentioned here. For 2-liter 1-on-1, for 50 liters tank, you can go for 8 to 10. That means a small fishes. If you go for gold fishes in at all, 2 to 4 is enough, 2 pairs. Okay, because when it grows bigger, it will sustain. Otherwise, if you put 6 or 7 or 8, they will die off, right? Otherwise, you have to increase your tank size. For 3 liters, 120 liters, 3 feet, 120 liters, 10 to 20 fishes. So the fishes will get doubled when you increase the tank sizes. And this is a simple calculation. Like for 1 liter, you can go for 1 centimeter fishes, right? So calculate according to your tank size. For example, for 5 liters, you can put only 2 fishes with 3 centimeter one and 2 centimeter one, right? Now we are ready to stock how much fish. So before going to stock, as I told earlier, you must, here comes the importance of nitrogen cycle. You have to condition your aquarium. What is this conditioning? So when you are starting an aquarium, or you are going to start it and install all the aquarium, as Dr. Yuvraj told yesterday, don't stock your fish immediately. So everybody will interested in seeing the aquarium immediately after setting up, you have to put it inside. No, you should run at least 1 week without fish, and even you can add the plants. Or if you want immediate result, you have to add some probiotic bacteria. It is available in the market, or else you can go and get an inoculum from your mature tank. If your friend is having a very good tank with the good substratum, you can get a handful of any substrate from him and put it in your tank, run it for 2 to 3 days. Your tank will ready to stock your fishes. So this is what normally we do. You don't put fish immediately when you set up your tank. You test everything like lighting, filters, flow rate, everything you test within this 1 week, and frequent exchange of water. It will stabilize your tank. Otherwise, if you put immediately, you will lose one by all the fishes within a week. This is a very important tip what I have to um, mention here to all aquarium hobbyists. So next, now you know how to stock, how many numbers. Next is acclimatization. So this is also an important thing. Immediately after buying the fish, you should not put it inside your tank. This is like entirely, if you switch over from one environment to another, or company or college or school, any other thing, you will be very much get shocked. You have to get acclimatized very slowly. In the same way, fishes also, because in the pet shop, it is in another condition. Okay, when you are bringing it to the home, the water and all the parameters will be different. So slowly you have to get acclimatized. There are two methods of acclimatization. Normally people, they do the floating method. It is a very best method. You put your complete cover, whatever you are buying it from the pet shop, put it inside your tank. It will equalize the temperature, only temperature. Immediately after, don't open up your packet and put it into your tank. Slowly what you have to do is open up your tank, open up your cover, and slowly add water. Okay, whenever the volume doubles up, remove the excess water and put it as such the half of the packet, and once again add your water. Once all the water is replaced with your tank water, it should be happen for a half an hour to 45 minutes. You have to acclimatize, then you leave your fishes into your tank. That is a good practice. Or else you have to go for the drip method. Here, instead of the packet, you are going for a container. You pour all the water along with your fish into a container, and slowly you drip the water into a container. Once it fills up, remove the half of the water and you fill it up with your tank water. Once all the water is replaced, you put your fish into your tank. This is the best way how you have to put your fishes into your tank, which is called as acclimatization. See, this also is a good practice, because if you immediately put your fish into your tank, you'll get shocked. They will give a very erratic movement from here and there, and they will go to the bottom and they will die off. Okay, this happens in all the tanks if you release immediately into your tank, right? Then you have to buy some maintenance equipments, like if you have a gravel in your tank as a substrate, you need to have a gravel vacuum. And the scrapper is very important, because the algae, which is the biggest problem in your tank, so you have to have a algal remover and the net to remove the injured fishes or the unhealthy fishes to your quarantine system. You need a net, whatever it may be, even a dead fish, if you want to remove, you need a net. Then the pump, like the external filter pump, and the brush. Why this brush is needed? To clean the pipes of your external filters. Okay, there are several methods to clean the pipes, because inside the pipes also hoses, which transfers the water from aquarium to the filter. You will have algal problem. So in order to remove that algae, we are using this brushes. Okay, and then a normal siphon to exchange the water, right? So here comes the tips for your maintenance. So what are all the things you have to do In the daily maintenance, check the temperature, check the water level. If it is if it is a level is less because of the evaporation, you can top up. And unusual, you have to observe the fishes. See, one thing I have to mention here, whenever you're keeping an aquarium, first you should relate yourself with the fishes. You should watch the fish carefully. Don't simply come and stand here, okay, putting the feed and going back. First, you should watch closely how they are swimming, what are all the problems they are having, whether some fishes are nibbling this particular fish, or any disturbance is there for these fishes. That you should observe very calmly, and then you come to know these are all the problems and rectify it. So you have to relate with your fish, then it will be very good for the fishes and also for you. Next, unusual behavior. That's why I told, if you look carefully, you can see the unusual behavior, whether it is because of the disease or it is because of the appetite. Okay. Then if it is a nibbling or rubbing, then you have to move it for quarantine tank. Dead fishes, remove immediately, otherwise it decompose and it will make a way for the disease outbreak. Weekly, you can see water exchange, the adding the conditioner. This is what I have to uh, I forgot to mention it in the earlier. In order to remove the chlorine, you can use this conditioner or dechlorinator in the tap water. And then otherwise you left it in the room temperature with a small aerator, the chlorine will strip off. Next, rinse the equipments, leave the fish in quarantine tank. If it is any diseased fish are there, remove the algae. Then remove the water using siphon, because you need every week you need to exchange 25% of the water, right? Next, new water by using the siphon, and add fish without disturbances. Even if you are adding any fishes, means don't disturb the other fishes. Without disturbance, you add the fishes. Next, monthly. So filter cartridges, if you have any RO system topping up your system, means you have to clean the filter cartridges or replace one. Rinse the material before water change. Wash all the equipments. Clean the air stones, because this is the only problem which we face mostly. After 6 months, the air will get the bubbles, it reduced. So what happens is, here the calcium and magnesium in your water would go and stick on the pores, it block the pores. So the simple thing is, soak it in the vinegar and in the hot water, it will get rid. So you will get your fresh stone back. And we come to the end. Now, this is a basic rule. What I have to suggest is not to overstock. Don't overstock the fishes. As I told, initially it will be good, but when they are growing, means there is a competition for food and also for the other parameters. So they will die slowly one by one. Whichever is very strong, they will survive. So don't overstock your aquarium, and not to overfeed. This is another thing. So like everybody in the home, if you comes and put one spoon, they will eat. If you take carp and the goldfish, they will eat more. And also it leads to other problem like constipation. Okay. Over excess of feed will also causes more problem. Right. Next, do frequent water exchange. This is the 3 simple rules which you have to follow when you are going to set up an aquarium. So here I'm going to show the egg laying of the angelfish, which I recorded from one of our clients' aquarium. You can see this is a male and female angelfish. See, the female is laying the egg there. It is cleaning. The clutch of egg, you can see small dots here. See here. This is a male angel. You can see the hump in the head. It is spreading the sperm, inseminating the egg. See the color of the male. You'll have a very orange color in the hump. You can see the barbs with a very blue. See, the female is laying the egg. See, both the people, they are very aggressive and they will guard the egg very carefully. It is in a community tank. So if you give a good environment, good food, and in this tank we have a clutch of the kapamba, so it neutralizes all the chemicals. So in the tank itself, these angels spread. You can see the bottom, so many fishes are moving. Even in the community tank, they are breeding. See, this is a male, you can see female. Okay, this is how they will lay the egg. In the next slide, I will show you the young ones. See, this is the hatched young ones. So this is a female. She is carefully parenting the young ones. She won't let the young ones to move here and there. Whenever they move here and there, she will catch it and she will put it here. So with this, I will end my presentation. Thank you. I once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share some tips on the setting and construction of marine aquarium. And yesterday, Dr. Yura just forgot to mention the corresponding address. Like you can here, you can note it down his email and phone number. If any doubts, you can ask him also. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the very informative speech. I hope the participants enjoyed the session. And we have a few questions to take up, sir.
Yes, sir.
The first question goes like, is it required to keep the motor on during both summer and winter?
Which motor, sir? Aerator.
The aerator, yes, sir.
Yeah. Continuously, you have to keep it on. Okay. You have to monitor that also. Even if there is any power cut, if the tank is bigger, fishes are very less, no problem. If it is highly dense, then it will be definitely it will be a problem.
Okay, sir.
You should be switched off on day and night for all the season. Okay.
Okay, sir. And the other question is, what is the best aquarium soil?
Yeah, I will, in my experience, I will go for fish only tanks. Aqua clay is Manado is enough. Manado, that aqua clay is very good. It does its duty very well.
Sir, is that how do you make do-it-yourself aqua clay?
I don't have any idea on that do-it-yourself aqua clay. Normally we purchase and we will put that one.
So the other question is about the filter, sir. Which type of filter is best for breeding tank?
Yeah, for breeding tank, you can go for the external filter. Like if you have a bigger, like cement tanks and other things, you can go for the sump, okay, with overflow system. There, if it is an egg scatterer or even the live bearers, the young ones and the eggs, it should not be taken into the filters. So likewise, you have to make an setup like overflow with all the filter meshes. So only water should come out of that along with the waste and other things, not this eggs and the young ones. Okay. So the external filter is very much useful for the breeding tanks.
So the other question is how to maintain the pH and salinity in a marine aquarium tank. Like if I'm using salt tablets, how much in proportion should I take is the question, sir.
Yeah, this is like how much you have to put. You have to test it with your normal. You take a beaker of water and you know the pH of your tank water. So you add the tablets accordingly. For 1 liter, I am adding this much of tablet. I am getting this much of pH means. Okay, then you can calculate for your entire tank and you can add your pH tablets accordingly. It's very
Okay, sir.
simple.
Yes, sir. We also have some questions from the YouTube.
Yes, sir.
So I'll take them one by one, sir. Due to
Okay.
lack of time, I'll just one or two
Sure.
questions, and then the other questions may be directed to you through
Oh,
email,
sure.
sir.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Um, Activated carbon and zeolite,
Mm.
do both of them work the same?
Yeah. See, the zeolite, it reduces the, normally it reduces the pH, but the activated carbon, it absorbs all the inorganic material which is dissolved in your tank. But thing is, normally this activated carbon, it only works for 3 to 6 months, not more than that. So you have to replace it. We face so much of problems when using this activated carbon. So normally we are not going for this activated carbon, rather than we are going for the zeolite. It gives a best result on our setting. Right.
Sir, another participant has asked for any suggestions or medicines for fungal and bacterial diseases.
We have several medicines in the market, but only thing we have to make is you have to give a better environment. Like immediately, what is the you must find the root cause for that particular fungal or bacterial problem. So one thing is, unleft the feeds, if it is there in your water, the fungal problem will be there. Then that it will switch over to your animals. And also the bacteria, unfiltered, or the water, if it is not good, then the bacteria will be there. So for both of them, you have to use a proper filters and the proper waters. It gives the best result. Immediately you have to change your water 50% of exchange, and you put salt. See, only medicine we use is the salt, table salt.
Okay, sir.
You exchange the water 50% and a small 2 tablespoons of salt, it will get rid. If you put chemicals, the medicines which is used in the market, it will have a big problem in your tank.
Another participant has asked why not we use activated carbon in planted tank, in a tank with plants.
Yeah. See, the inorganic material which is required for the plants, it will get absorbed by the plant. So you the the chemicals which is very much needed, the nutrients which is very much needed for the plant, it won't be available. So they are not using this carbon in the planter tanks.
Sir, in aquarium, how much possibility is there to provide live feed?
Yeah, live feed you can, that too you have to give very limitedly. Even the live feed also causes more problem in the tanks also. So you can give, but that too very limitedly you have to give. Okay,
Okay.
no excess feeding should be there.
So another question is these granules, the feed granules, they are of different colors,
Yeah.
which means there is some colorant that has been added to it. So won't it affect the fishes?
See, if you go for the local feeds, you have so many colors like red, green, blue. And if you want red color, you put red color feed, your fish will become red. No, your water only will become red. If you put green feed, your water will become green. See, only if you go for some standard feeds, you will have all these carotenoids, astaxanthins, and even if you have only the red color and green color, normally for this the microalgae they use for green color, and the astaxanthin other colors for this red. So if you go for a standard foods, you will get a better color rather than going for this so much of colored local feeds.
Thank you, sir. What can be the standard stocking density of goldfish and other live bearers in a community tank or an intensively cultured tank?
Yeah, see, that depends upon the size. As I told earlier, you must consider about the adult. Okay, how much is going, how many fishes you're going to stock, and how much big it is going to be grow. That is very much important. See, for a 2 feet tank, I have mentioned 4 fish is enough. Two pairs are goldfish. They will happily grow and they will uh, grow up to the maximum size. Okay. Even unless otherwise, if you provide a better environment. Okay. Even in the intense one, it's very difficult. So plan accordingly.
Okay. Sir, is there a how many types of fishes should be kept in an aquarium? Sir? Do we have a number?
See, as I told, there is a compatibility. So according to the compatibility and according to the level, which level they are going to live, you can choose your fishes. Like the guppy and molly, you can use both. Okay, tetras, neon tetras, and barbs. Barbs are very aggressive. Okay, so along with the barbs, you can go for neon tetra varieties, right? Molly, and even in the mollies, also they won't survive with this tetras and other what you call the barbs. Okay, so choose accordingly with the compatibility of the fish. You can use, you can stock your fishes.
Sir, and there is a common saying that rounded bowls not to be used for aquarium fishes.
Yes,
Is
yes.
there a reason for that, sir?
See, see, in my way, think yourself in a 5 by 5 room. You cannot be live for a longer time in your bathrooms. No,
Yeah.
that is the thing. It's like a sin. I've told, putting this beautiful fishes in a small confined area, it's a sin. In my way, I will say this only. So you have to give a better place to grow. If you see, I have shown that video. No, if you go to the tank, if you stand 2 minutes or 3 minutes, if you see, you really, I will forget all the things, because how they happily they will go there, and they know he is coming to feed the fish. Okay, so they will come up, and you can see the joy in the fishes, right? If you keep it in the smaller one, if you do, what is the joy, they will know. They are not move front and back also. No, that is the problem in this bowl. Please don't go for this bowl, keeping the fishes in the bowl. Go for a tank, it'll be better.
And one another common question that the people are asking is that when we change the whole water
Mm.
um, while changing water regularly, can that be harmful to the fish? Because
Yes,
or some old water should be mixed along with the new.
yes. That's why I told, no, the conditioning is very much important. If you completely remove the water, it is nothing but you are setting up a new tank, except you are not washing the gravels.
Mm.
Okay, only 50% of water has to be changed. If there, even though if it is a problem, only 50% of water is recommended. If it is a more problem, you can go for 75%. Otherwise, 50% water exchange or 20% is very much must. Okay, even 20% water is very much enough to maintain a tank. And also, I will suggest that don't wash your tank with soap water. And some people I know, they'll simply put all the fishes in the bucket and they will wash all the gravels with your hands. Okay, and then put it as a new. Immediately next day morning, two fishes they will die, because it is also setting up like a new tank. So don't do like that. Let it be, because the bacteria is there, so that will look after all your problem. Only excess of bag, if you are not giving a proper water quality, the bacteria will grow, the problem will be there. Okay. Unless otherwise, if it is everything is fine, don't disturb the tank, it will go off nicely.
And there's another question, so which is the best way to remove salt formed in the tank?
Yeah, this is the question. Normally, we do with scrap with the blades. Okay, carefully take the tank. Don't use any like this harpic and other things. Like harpic, very easily you can remove the scales, but it is acidic. The remnants will be there. It will cause more problem. And don't use any soap or any other thing. Simply use your the scraper is there. Otherwise, you can use your small shaving blades. Okay, so without scratch, you can remove the scales. And also you'll have this cuttlefish bone. Normally they'll give it for the in the pet shop. If you ask, they will give that cuttlefish bone. You can scrap with that also. The salt will go. This is the best way. Don't use any chemicals to remove the salt.
There are canister filters considerably good for cement tanks.
Yeah, but unless otherwise, if it is a breeding tank, you must be careful about no eggs or young ones. It comes to the canister filter.
So is there a procedure for construction of an aquarium in a garden?
Yeah, that depends what aquarium you're going to build, whether it is a partition one or you have a pond like that, okay, or a see-through. So likewise, so many designs are there in which you are going to prefer. So certainly there is a procedure like you should have a good water supply and electrical supply should be there and drainage should be there. If all is there, you can construct an aquarium in your garden and should be a shaded one. Okay, we can put the light so that it will be bright and also no direct sunlight should be there. You can put a small shade and you can construct the aquarium in our gardens also.
So another participant wants to know what are the steps to be followed to maintain corals in marine aquarium?
This, this, see, steps are there, but here we should not because it is already banned. We should not even keep buy the corals also. It's not an a good thing. Like it is a banned one. Should not think of this, right?
Yeah, okay. So another participant is worried about the hardness of boreal water. So is there a procedure to remove the hardness of boreal water?
So now the conditioners are available, or else you can use RO water. If it is more hard water, you can use RO waters, okay, or else you can use some conditioners to reduce the hardness and you can put it in your tank. It's best you can go for the RO waters.
So is pebbles harmful for fishes like eel?
See, one more thing I have to mention here, the substratum also, selecting the substratum, why I am going for this aqua clay, the size is somewhat moderate, not bigger one. If you put bigger pebbles and other things, no, the feed, it will go and hide inside. They cannot go and pick up the feed. So that only the medium size, whatever the substrate, maybe it should be a medium size. The feed, it should not go inside the medium. And also the eels, they normally go and hide. So for that, if you have a loose soil, they can go and hide inside, they can come up. If you are using this pebble, they'll simply bore the pebble and they will move and they will make another structure. So I think it is not advisable to use this pebbles.
Sir, is there a way to reduce pH in a cichlid tank?
Yeah, that's why I told no. There are several ways to reduce the pH. Now, so many the ready-made packs also available. Kits also available to reduce the pH. You can use that kits to reduce the pH.
Okay, sir. Um, from YouTube, we have a few questions. Sir. What are the other suitable waters for zebrafish research model other than RO water?
See, whatever more water you use, only thing is it should be uh, very much devoid of this chlorine and other this harmful pesticides and other things. That's it. Otherwise, you can go for the only thing is if it doesn't harm your experiment and the fishes, you can go for any water. So why we are suggesting RO water is it is zero. Only water is there. So no other external factor can hinder your research. Okay, if something, the chemical or anything is present in that water, if it affects your model means, then you will interpret with the other results. So that's why if you put it in a RO, it is a nil. Nothing is there. Whatever the chemicals or anything you are adding is whatever you added. So
Okay.
it is best to go for the RO water rather than for any other water sources.
So is it mandatory to measure the TDS in an aquarium?
Yeah, because this is that gives the total hardness. No, so
Yes.
that also you need to measure that one also.
So one important question at this point of time, I guess, one participant has asked for information regarding Indian brands for aquarium feed and accessories to replace Chinese products.
Yeah, this is very difficult to think this time, but previously there are so many companies available in the market. Because of the incoming of this Chinese, most of the aerators and the companies, they went. Maybe in this situation we have to work it out and to bring more such companies to India, because if you take the aquarium field, mostly these products are dominant.
Yes.
Once it was there, aerators was there, CNC aerators, it's from Chennai, very good aerators, which in my childhood we buy it. And even my research also, for that I will buy that CNC. One aerator was there, it is made from Chennai. But later on, all the things are disappeared. Now only this Chinese goods are uh, what do you call, they are in the top, because it is cheaper. They are giving whatever the production cost is here was higher. Even though if you go for a pump, are we ready to buy that pump with that much cost? Surely we will help that particular people. They will come up. Whenever we go to the anywhere, we are looking at for the cheaper one. That's why they come. Uh, they are in the top. That is the only problem. If you are ready to buy, certainly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
spending your valuable time, sir. It was a very informative session, and I
Thank you.
guess the participants, they enjoyed the session. And once again, I thank Dr. Maslamani and Dr. Mahesh for
Thank you,
making
sir.
this
Thank you very
wonderful
much.
session, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
As regards the feedback for today, you can leave your feedback. We have shared it in the chat box. You can also visit this blog site to know the YouTube link. The feedback link is also present there. You can join us in the Telegram channel to get updates about this webinar. We have come to the last day, day 5 tomorrow, where we'll be looking into the breeding of marine ornamental fishes with special reference to clownfishes. This talk will be delivered by Dr. Sesh. So he's a scientist in charge in Jehovah Shama Center for Marine and Wildlife Research, Ramanathapuram. Participants, please note that your feedback tomorrow will lead you to your certificate page, and automatically your certificates will be generated once you leave the feedback. Thank you, and looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. Thank you, one and all.